Hello and welcome to Is That Some Kind of Japanimation Thing? A series that is on video this week. Check us out, because this is a slideshow episode. This might be a thing we do a little often. We might do some bonuses that are video or video friendly. And this episode is going to be closing out season 2 with our discussion of every single legal kerfuffle related to Macross and or Robotech I could find and explain. This might take a while. My name is Scott.
This is Justin. Pack a lunch.
Pack a lunch, settle in. This is going to take a little while. I do
Get
want to
cozy.
start.
Put on your listening headphones.
Put on the comfy headphones. Put on the comfy headphones. This episode is
I'll
brought
be
to you by
performing all my questions in ASMR voice.
Yes. This is of course brought to you by our backers on Ko-fi. Mostly Brad. Thank you so much to Brad for insisting on this. This series also brought to you by our Hobby Link Japan, where you can buy many Macross model kits, but not the ones from the original Macross for reasons that we'll get into. Because Hobby Link Japan is very respectful of international trademark laws and distribution deals. For example, there are a lot of Star Wars model kits made by Bandai you just can't buy on HLJ because they are respecting Revell's right to distribute Star Wars model kits in North America.
Thank you very much, Hobby Link Japan.
Thank you
I'll just
very
have to
much
get
for
one of
that.
my friends to go and get me one of those when they go to Japan next time, along with the Godzilla thing.
Oh, they got Godzillas. They got some Godzillas
Yes.
for you. But if you want one of the classic Robotechs, if you want one of your classic Macrosses, you got to find another source because Hobby Link is respectful of international law. Take advantage of their private warehousing to save on shipping and their notification pros. I will say their changes to back ordering. The notification system worked for me. I got a Sakura Wars kit I had wanted. They sent me an email and said, "Oh, we got a few in," and I think I got the last one. I was very happy about that.
Well done.
Well done. All right. So, as promised, we are here to explain every promised, threatened, guaranteed to explain as much of the legal nonsense surrounding Macross as I could. And we begin in the 1970s with Farouk Frank Argama, who, look at this man's picture. Look at this man's picture. This is the most Farouk looking man I have ever seen in my life. And I obviously respect everyone's right to go by a different name at work. But, like, if this man shakes my hand and says, "I'm Frank," I'm like, "No, you, sir, are a Farouk. You are a Farouk." He was a film
Egyptian,
actor.
and I like the guy already.
Yeah, Egyptian American. He was a actor briefly, and then became a director of low budget films, including The Godfather's Friend, Queen Kong, and Dawn of the Mummy. And while he was directing films, he got into not necessarily production of films, but just the negotiations surrounding international rights to film catalogs. And so he started distribution internationally, yeah. And so he bought the rights to a bunch of Paramount movies, like none of them particularly memorable, but he bought the rights to a bunch of Paramount movies, and he started going around to international film festivals to just find other producers who worked overseas to sell them to. And there at Cannes in 1979, he meets two guys. He meets Silvio Berlusconi, president of Mediaset, a company that owns roughly 90% of Italian television, which is a great way to distribute films if you need a Saturday afternoon matinee
Yeah,
on TV. And he also
they've got
met
some slots free.
slots free, really do. He also meets Patty Chen Mei Yu, who owns Harmony Gold Limited Hong Kong. And Harmony Gold Limited Hong Kong was buying and selling films and TV around the world and also producing and packing dubs in house. He Patty basically teaches him the ropes of how to do this, and then he Frank buys the rights to the South African made Zulu miniseries, the Shaka Zulu Bio miniseries, and he packages this for US TV, UK TV, and he takes that money along with a loan from Berlusconi and founds Harmony Gold USA, a company that will again produce by US movies and TV, produce dubs for international markets, all in house, all in California, and sell them around the world.
I'm not comfortable about a South African made biography of Shaka Zulu from the 80s, Scott.
It it had incredible production values and nicest thing I'm going to say about it. Only nice thing I'm going to say about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. God, yeah. Continuing to the other half of the 1970s, Shoji Kawamori. He could have been a fantastic illustrator and designer, but unfortunately, while attending Keio University in the late 70s, he saw Star Wars Space Battleship Yamato and Gundam in an 18-month period and was ruined forever.
That'll do a lot to you, man. That's all that bam, 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 one after the other.
Oh, for sure. For sure. This ruined a lot of people, but he was in university at the time. He began kind of co-organizing one of the first fanzines in Japan, and even after graduating, he moved on to a company called Studio Nue, which focused on helping anime and toy companies design characters and robots and vehicles. For
That sounds
example,
like fun.
it is fun. Studio Nue, for example, designed many of the robots that make up the Diaclone toy line. Diaclone being one of the pillars of G1 Transformers.
Along with Microman.
Microman was GI Joe.
Oh, was it? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Oh.
Microman was the new scale and like the elastic
Ah,
waistband tech that made 80s GI Joe happen.
sorry. The toys that made us is beginning to blur together. It's been a minute since I watched that show.
Yes, but also Microman has the catchiest jingle.
Microman.
Diaclone has a catchy jingle, but it's not quite as good as Microman for a three-note jingle. Diaclone also a three-note jingle, not as good.
Acknowledged. Thank you, sir.
But Shoji Kawamori, in addition to having aspirations of designing cool robots, wants to write cool science fiction stories. And eventually, Studio Nue begins work on Macross. This took a long time to put together, actually, after years of development hell and shuffling through various production partners. They finally begin airing uh, Macross on TV on the Japan News Network. The production team on that consisted of Studio Nue, who did design and story, Artland, who did animation, Big West, an ad agency and the primary funder of the series, Tatsunoko, the primary animation studio for the series, and Takatoku Toys. They were the primary sponsor for the series, and obviously they also released the toy line for Macross. Okay, we're
Of
good.
course.
We're good.
A
Proper
lot of
nouns
people
in
there.
order.
There's a lot of people there, Scott.
That did
Are there a lot
also
of hands in this pie?
there are many hands in this pie, including one I'm not really going to mention. I'll mention now, but they aren't going to show up again. But Anime Friend, also part of the animation team, they uh, they made animation very cheap and very fast, and it's why a bunch of the episodes in the middle of Macross look terrible. But they were turned in on time, weren't they?
Yes.
So almost immediately, this series gets ripped off. In the
Didn't waste any
19
time, did they?
No. So in the 1980s, South Korea was maintaining a more or less not a formal ban, but like the rules were set up such that there was no way in hell Japanese media could make it to South Korea legitimately. Okay,
Understandable. There's
understandable.
there's some tension there.
Tensions, tensions. But animation director Kim Jong-gi was able to produce a horrendously low budget knockoff of several anime series called Space Gundam V. This, of course, appropriated designs from Macross and Gundam, mechanical designs from Macross, character designs from Gundam, and plot elements from Brave Riding. Um,
Wow.
yeah, this is
Was
still
it
like
good?
no, no,
Okay.
but it is fondly remembered by connoisseurs of dodgy ass animation from the 80s, especially this particular era of Korean animation where it's really low budget, like they're using commercial Xeroxes for half the work to
Oh
make
my
this.
lord.
Yeah, this is not the Disney Xeroxes that got us 101 Dalmatian. These are the Office. This is a copy machine from 1981 kind of thing. The thing you use to
I was
make
I had to look at that poster and once again, next to no knowledge of Gundam. That is that is a Veritech fighter right there. That is it's
that
like
that
they didn't even try. They didn't even try to round off some edges or something.
nope, nope, no
They had him
attempts.
turn the head a bit more than I'm used to seeing, but I think no, that is him.
That's our boy, the Veritech slash Valkyrie right there in the middle of that poster. And due to the fact that there's no real diplomatic interaction between Japan and Korea related to IP law, never mind any other law that they might be
Yeah.
wanting to interact on, there's never really any actual action to crack this thing down. Obviously, it's not available legitimately on home video, but it's on YouTube. People love to riff on it. It's a mainstay for just like if you're at an anime con at midnight and someone's showing Space Gundam 5, you go see that. You go see that cuz like Mike Toole is going to be there explaining this to you and he's a charismatic guy.
Excellent.
In 1984, Takatoku goes out of business. Takatoku worked directly with Shoji Kawamori to create a transforming 155th scale toy of the Valkyrie, which they called the technology that allowed this to happen, Kanzen Henkei, the perfect transformation. Uh, there was no part swapping, which you can't even say for Diaclone at the time.
Mhm.
It's still kind of like a high watermark for 80s toys. Certainly a masterwork for Takatoku, but they spent too much on it, and that's why it went out of business. They spent too much designing toys, not enough on marketing. But they went out of business. And do you know who bought all of the molds for the Valkyrie?
No, Scott. Who bought those molds?
Hasbro. Hasbro, because
I know that
Transformers.
guy. I know
Tra-
that guy.
Absolutely. Hasbro has a fucking rocket ship made of money that generates money called Transformers right now. They've already shipped all the Diaclone toys they have. They've redecoed half the Diaclone toys, and they are just buying the rights or molds or reproduction permissions for any transforming robot toy in Japan they can find. And so Takatoku selling the best transforming robot toy ever made at bankruptcy rates means that oh we got to get this guy. So they buy the molds and the rights to this and they produce Jetfire, one of the great G1 Transformers, Autobot Jetfire. Again, you can see here it it is the Valkyrie, but it's
Yeah.
redecoed. It's got the Autobot symbol on it, and it really does fit the Transformers line because again, Studio Noe had worked on Diaclone. But it does mean that in the next year, when Harmony Gold begins trying to produce Macross, they don't have access to the best toy to go with their show. And
Oh,
this is
damn.
going to sting for a long time for them. I think you can guess.
I don't. Are we going to get into the fact that, I mean, does buying the mold mean you can produce the toy?
So
Is
they
there like,
have that yeah, this is really important is that they did buy everything they could relating to it. So they literally bought they bought the mold, the image rights, everything, right? Like that this is them having permission to produce this toy in any way they feel like forever, basically.
this is Jetfire was
Jetfire.
the one that you got if your family couldn't quite swing the USS flag. It was like, here you go, son. It's a robot turns into a plane. It's like, love you, Dad. Thank you very much. This is great, and it was great. He was sitting in my parents' garage for years. I regret to this day not grabbing it before a cousin's kid, but I hope they gave it a good home.
I mean, like kids toys should be played with. Toys should be played with. I'm
I
sorry.
figure I would have played with it.
Yeah.
Right now, I would be doing it around this room. All right.
The next thing is that again, the so obviously we have Harmony Gold trying to secure all the rights to Macross going through things, and this does not go well. The next thing that happens is that FASA launches BattleTech, the game of armored combat. This launched in 1984 under the name Battle Droids. Lucasfilm licensing C&D'd them over the trademark to the name Droids, which was being
Woo!
registered in anticipation of the 1985 Droids and Ewoks cartoon.
Yes, I can say this is a bit of a generic term, George, but I mean,
Look,
you've got a lot of lawyers, don't you?
like it's one thing again, they are registering this as a trademark, which is
Sure.
more specific than a copyright. A trademark means that you have access to use the name for specific purposes. So if you want Droids the board game, the
Yes,
Droids the plastic model kit, you need to have that trademark. They had to defend that. It this is the thing about trademark as opposed to copyright law. It's a lot more specific and a lot more fiddly. And again, if you want a trademark, you have to fight for it at all stages.
that's true. Ask the Kleenex people.
Pass the Kleenex, yes. Or the thermos.
Yes,
The thermos is actually the better example because thermos never described itself as anything but a thermos, which is why they couldn't trademark thermos later.
ah,
But Battletech featured, uh, to fill out its roster of tiny little robot figures that you made to play a little board game about robots shooting each other, they bought the designs from robots and tanks from Crusher Joe, Daugrum, and Macross. And I do want to stress that these are image rights. In Japanese copyright law, you can split image rights from authorship rights. So you can just buy the look of a character for your Pepsi can without having to buy all of the associated like story or other IP. This is going to
sure.
matter in a minute. It's cool, but FASA, makers of BattleTech, believed that they had the rights to do this because of a contract they signed with 20th Century Imports. 20th Century Imports was selling um, Crusher Joe, Macross, and Daugrum kits just as is. They were buying them from Takara model kits. They were translating most of the box art to English, most of the manuals to English, and then you would go to a hobby shop and it's like, ah, here's a Daugrum. What's a Daugrum? I don't know. It's a cool little model kit you can build. That's the important thing. They thought
I owned one
TCI.
for several years.
Yeah.
Most of the instructions were not in English.
Okay. Yeah. to this day, very few Japanese model kits are available in English, but they're often available in international standard Lego.
Cool looking robot, never got to build it together. But yes, sorry.
Yeah.
So they're
So
producing these.
so TCI believed they had the option from Takara to sell sub licenses, which is why Battletech was able to create tiny little versions of the model kits for you to play the little board game where you shuffle them around and shoot each other. It's a fun thing to do at a game shop on a Saturday afternoon.
That seems like a very optimistic way to consider how your licenses work. I
It
think some
what
of the owners might have different ideas.
it was, but this was like a handshake deal that happened at a toy fair in 1983, and it wasn't, you know, no one was really checking at that time because FASA wasn't making tremendous amounts of dollars on this franchise yet.
Let's not get the lawyers involved. Come on.
Well,
What?
look. The head of TCI and Jason Weisenberg had a chat, and it's like, oh yeah, use these little guys, make some little guys. It'll be fun. It's
Cool
great.
little guys.
It's great. It's great. So now
Was it great,
they're
Scott?
we're gonna get to this. Justin has asked me to arrange this chronologically, so we are gonna just go year by year. So we go back to Harmony Gold, Harmony Gold USA. We start with the fact that Silvio Argama, Frank's son, is kind of a dork. He sees that he sees that he's working with Harmony Gold, he's working with negotiating all these things, and he sees that okay, cartoons are fun, they're interesting, there's a lot of cool things going on, and he looks at the success of Voltron at World Events Productions and says, "Hey, I bet we could do that too." And so the Argamas meet with Tatsunoko and they buy 6, maybe 7 different shows in a bundle, like, pretty recent stuff, like Lensman, Time Boken, Cashern, Birth, but also Macross, Mospeada, and Southern Cross. Now, Tatsunoko probably didn't need permission from all of its other production partners on Macross to do this deal, partly because this was Studio Nue's and Big West's first time doing an animation project at all. Big West was as an ad agency that was looking to be more involved in TV production and just picked up a slightly distressed animation production from Studio Nue, and they made that happen. Tatsunoko took over the role of negotiating internationally because they've already been doing this. This is, in theory, fine. Now,
Hands were
after
shaking.
hands were shaken, agreements were made, no one is breaching any contracts really, partly because the contracts aren't being specific. Because, again, no one's really concerned about international rights to animation in Japan because it doesn't travel. America isn't buying anime yet, and many of the places that we think of as buying anime now aren't because of tensions related to things that happened between 1936 and 1945.
Oh, this is rough times.
But one of the things that happens is that after this deal gets signed, they find out that a guy named Carl Masick is running an LA-based animation museum that has just a ton of original production material from Macross that he's just got in his museum. You can walk around, you
Awesome.
can see production stills, you can see reference sheets, just concept art. And Carl Masick, as you might guess, because he's an adult running an animation museum in the 80s, is a ginormous nerd. And he kind of BS's his way into helping produce, a version of Macross for US TV. And he really wants to make the adaptation as close as possible. He's seen Voltron, he's seen Force 5. You remember Force 5? You ever heard of Force
I
5?
don't recall Force 5.
So
I
Force
mean,
5,
if you want to talk about net localizations that may not have pulled off entirely successfully, we can go to Battle of the Planets. But
Oh,
please let me know
Battle
about
of the
Force
well,
5.
Battle of like he was definitely aware of Battle of the Planets and was just one of these guys, even in the 80s, was like, why is there 7 minutes of an entirely new character lying to me about what's going on screen? I don't want this for Macross. But like Force 5 was another show that took it's kind of genius actually, if you think about how to make it. But it took 5 different super robot shows and then said they took 13 episodes from each and said, okay, aliens are invading Earth. 5 different alien forces are invading 5 different parts of Earth. And and and
And 5
every
different teams are going to defend them?
yes, and so every day you just saw one episode of a different show that was pretending to be one bigger cinematic universe, but it's 13 episodes and there's no continuity even within the 13. So if you're only watching on Mondays, you're just seeing like 13 episodes of Guy King on rotation where nothing changes. But it's kind of genius in terms of just getting the syndication deal.
How are the animation styles? Were they similar enough that they could pull it off, or was it
Oh,
like, these kids are not
they were all from TMS. They were all from the same
okay,
studio, so like they at least kind of looked alike, kind of same level of quality at least.
good.
But so what emerges is Carl's crazy dumb bad plan. This plan was to release Macross, just Macross, the 36 episode series direct to video, but with a toy pack-in. So you would
Oh,
go to a Toys R Us and you would have a toy of of a Macross character of a Macross robot, and then you would have a tape with like 2 or 3 episodes on it. And if you wanted the whole thing, you just had to buy all the tapes. If you
so it's
ever know,
basically the build a series version
yeah,
of a,
yeah. But again, Carl doesn't know anything about short packing or distribution of toys, or the fact that this will make a toy that's literally 3 times more expensive than anything else on a rack in the 80s. This is not buying this is not wave 1 of GI Joe where you have 4 comics spread across 12 guys and you can get them all if you really care. This is no, you have to consume a whole story by tracking down weird the Warhammer, the Destroid Warhammer or whatever. Sorry, Destroid Marauder. The Warhammer is what you call it in BattleTech.
if you're nasty.
But one of the hurdles in the way of this dumb bad idea is that Revel has the
Oh,
rights to a number of Takara model kits and toys related to Macross. They also have a few other franchises under this line. Some of them they are selling under the name Robotech Changers, some of them under the name Robotech Defenders. Anyway, and Revell has already partnered with DC Comics to
ooh.
release Robotech Defenders, the comic series. So that also includes Orgus and Dogram, and DC had already like taken all these robot designs and created their own fiction for it. It was aliens invading Earth, and they had good guy robots, bad guy
Why
robots.
is it always aliens invading Earth? I mean, surely there's something else that can be done with giant robots
I don't
other than
know.
aliens.
I
Perhaps some
don't.
sort of conflict with artificial intelligences. Don't you think that might work too, Scott?
That could be great. That could be deeply interesting. But this was
Someone
basically
could pull that.
DC having an answer to Shogun Warriors.
Oh, God Almighty! Of course, of course.
It it makes tons of sense for DC to be doing this. But luckily, uh Robotech Defenders sold like shit. The 2 issues were selling really badly. They were going to cancel it before they even got to the 4th one that was part of the order with Revel, and Harmony Gold just gets to swoop in and say, "Oh, we're buying the name Robotech. We're buying the toy rights to all of these." And DC is just like, "Great, great. Happy to cancel this book. These 2 issues never get reprinted. This is this.
The logo looks very similar. They used it. Did Harmony Gold use that same logo?
Oh yeah, they bought everything. They bought the typeface, they bought the logo marks, everything. This is where the name Robotech originates. They're like, oh,
Oh,
all of a sudden we have access to the toy rights to a bunch of just a bunch of different robot shows. We have the toy rights, we have this cool name that people kind of know, it's drifting around. We can really capitalize this. We can push this over. So, they come up with the second plan, the better plan. They have the merch rights to 3 different shows, and they also have the rights to, again, 7 different Tatsunoko series. So they go around and they track down the toy rights to Southern Cross and Muspeta as well, and they just say, "All right, we've got these 3 Tatsunoko shows. We'll just staple them back to back and call them one show." Like Voltron did, right? Voltron had Voltron had Go Lion and Die Rugger. They got enough episodes to go to first run syndication daily. They could sell into a bunch of markets. Voltron did great. Robotech is now on track to be a daily syndication show with merch support. Again, they go to air in 1985 with toys from Matchbox and Mattel. These are a lot of original designs based on Muspeta, Macross, and Southern Cross. Southern Cross is the one I forget every time because it's bad.
is it actually post-apocalyptic? For some reason, I assume it is.
Most beta is post-apocalyptic. Yes,
Okay.
they make that work within the story as well. And I mean, Robotech does have a bit of a post-apocalyptic aspect to it as well. So we are going to get. It is now 1985, and we are going to jump back to FASA
Oh, gee.
because now we have a situation where you have FASA using Macross designs and Harmony Gold using Macross designs. And Harmony Gold would spend about 10 years repeatedly sending cease and desist letters to FASA over the Macross mecha designs appearing in their game. And FASA would just spend all their time pointing at, no, this is our document with TCI. We're going to be fine. We're fine. This is good. This is binding. This is legal. It's fine. HG will spend every time just sitting there and grumbling. Robotech the cartoon, huge success. Canon Pictures sees that this guy, FASA, that Harmony Gold, that Carl Masick, they've cracked it. They figured out a way to bring in foreign movies, make them really popular real fast. Canon makes 90 movies a year. Most of them are cheaply made sequels to better movies. They don't want to make money in theaters, they want to make money selling cassettes into the rental market.
They
So,
did Superman 4, didn't they?
Superman 4 and at least 3 Death Wishes.
Gee. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. People talk about
And
direct
a
to
number of
streaming.
American Ninjas, I think. Maybe all of them. Maybe all of
I
those.
don't look. American Ninja did not start out in a great place, so anywhere they took it can only be an improvement. Because I recall there was an American Ninja that had a scene where a ninja fought a helicopter, flew around a hill to explode.
Yep.
Oh, I can't see me, but I'm going to explode. Straight forward for it.
So
Love that.
they anyway, Canon is like, "Oh, I see you're on track for something. What if you made a Robotech movie? What if we offered to pay to make a Robotech movie?" And Carl is like, "Oh, that sounds great." Because he sees an easy way to do this, an absolutely easy way to do this. So he signs the deal with Canon before checking anything else out. Because Carl
So
has
you're saying that
remembered
Carl's a
love.
sucker.
He has remembered love. And Macross had recut part of the story arc into a theatrical feature with new animation and put it out on screens very recently. So Carl emails. He does not email. He faxes. He sends a fax to over
As was
to,
the style of the time.
as was the style at the time, to Big West and Studio Nui and says, "Hey, uh, I've got a I have the opportunity to distribute Super Dimension Fortress Macross Do You Remember Love theatrically in the US as Robotech the movie. Would you be interested in licensing me that film and basically do the same thing we just did? Now, Studio Nui and Big West didn't like working with Tatsunoko on Macross. It was rough. There was a lot of corners cut. People got pe- feelings were hurt. And so and again, as much as Macross has been a franchise since then, only that first TV series is made with Tatsunoko Productions. So what happens is that Big West sends a very polite fax back, and I'm going to paraphrase here. Thank you very much for your interest. Thank you very much for proving that Macross is a valuable international property. We're gonna do we're just gonna do that on our own without
Oh
you
no.
changing anything. Thank you very much.
Uh,
Sayonara, bye bye.
no, he was a nerd, not a businessman.
Yep, exactly. What happens then is that Carl enters scramble mode. He very quickly finds that he very quickly finds Megazone 23 Part 1, which already has a different ending animated, has an ending that would have wrapped up the thing as this one-parter as opposed to a two-parter that Megazone 2-3 came out as. So he's like, okay, no, I can just take this, I can use the other ending, and I can turn that into the prequel to the most beta parts of Robotech. It's fine, it's great, it's an OVA, it's shot on 35, it's great, it's theatrical ready. And then Canon is like, this movie has a lot of scenes of girls talking and guys going on motorcycle dates to McDonald's. So they have to like very quickly like add more action scenes from the most beta footage just to get Canon's approval. It doesn't
Sure.
do that great theatrically because it's not marketed very well. Uh, Canon cuts the theatrical run short, doesn't really push it hard into video rental stores, and they never partner with Harmony Gold again. Robotech the movie is basically lost. It's lost media.
Uh,
If so, someone's obviously there's however many VHS copies in however many um, basements, but yeah, you're not going to see this. You're not going to find that version anywhere. But Carl's an optimist. And again, Robotech sold a lot of toys, moved a lot of syndication deals, even in areas where having an interracial couple is still frowned upon on in cartoons. So he scares up some money from Harmony Gold and Matchbox Toys to develop Robotech 2, The Sentinels. It's going to flip the situation. They're going to they, Harmony Gold and Matchbox, are going to pay Tatsunoko to animate 65 new episodes that'll be a sequel to
oh,
Robotech, and they've already sold it into half of US markets. So,
well
first run
done.
syndication, daily, ready for fall of 1986. Super ready. They've got this going. Tatsunoko's drawing cells. They're putting paint down. But then the Plaza Accord. In
Oh yes.
September of 1985, the G5 nations sat down in New York to negotiate the a new exchange rate independent of the market, independent of market pressures, just saying like, hey, we realize that the US dollar is really outstriping us, partly because the US has not had to pay to rebuild from all the bombing the US did in most of the G5 nations. And so
Yeah.
Gerhard Stoltenberg of West Germany, Pierre Bergovi of France, James Baker of the United States, Nigel Lawson of Britain, and Noboru Takeshita of Japan. These are all the secretaries of finance, the ministers of finance. That job equivalency. They all meet at the Plaza Hotel in New York, and they agree to renegotiate the exchange rate against the US dollar, which means that all of a sudden, the yen, basically overnight, doubles in value against the US dollar, which means that Matchbox is looking at the cost of producing Robotech 2 and is
Oh
like,
no!
what do you mean it costs twice as much? We've already shipped so much of our toy production to Taiwan, and that's costing almost as much, even though Taiwan's not didn't sign the Plaza Accord, but it's that agreement is rippling through other currency markets. And Matchbox is like, nope, can't do it, can't do it. We're out. And without a toy sponsor, Harmony Gold is like, well, let's just take the work we've already paid for and turn that into a tape we can sell. So
Sure.
Robotech 2, The Sentinels, is now a 60-minute VHS tape sold by Palladium Books. It is
Sorry, Scott.
distributed
60 minutes.
6-0.
All right. I thought I heard 16 for a second. I'm like, that is brisk. That is not a lot of exciting adventure.
Now, it's
60 minutes is a show. Is a
yeah,
show that I can accept.
that's 3 TV episodes without any openings or endings. And it is distributed by Palladium Books. Palladium Books is a publisher
Kevin,
of tabletop
no
role-playing
way.
games. They had the license to Robotech for the role-playing game. For role-playing game purposes, they will print RPG material for Robotech from 1986 till 1998, and then again from 2005 till 2018.
Mega damage.
Mega Damage was invented for Robotech to accurately describe the distinction between a Zentradi, who is a big guy, and a human who is not a big guy.
Big bag of juice. And the giant robots they ride around it.
Yes. So again, that
That
VHS
is
would go
such a
through.
cool cover.
It's a good cover design. It is, but yeah, the Palladium will be their VHS distribution partner into comic books for a long time because Palladium has access to Diamond Distribution, the guys who sold RPGs into comic book stores.
Diamond is a whole nother goddamn thing that we could go into another video about.
I think that will probably, when we describe why Dark Horse doesn't really print manga anymore, we'll get into Diamond.
Excellent. Ooh, Diamond.
1988. Paragon Film
88.
Distribution and Paragon Film Distribution releases Clash of the Bionoids. This is Macross. Do You Remember Love? Just slightly recut. Just slightly recut. They trim down some longer conversation scenes and they cut the part of the ending where it looks like Hikaru Rick has died. They cut that bit out. They cut out that fake out, and it's fine. It's got a new dub. They circulated this tape to many video stores. The dub would pop up periodically on different TV stations from 1989 till about 1997. One time in 2004, just one time in 2004. But they also did a very short run of subtitled, less cut tapes of Clash of the Bionoids. Basically, Do You Remember Love uncut. Harmony Gold sued to keep those out of circulation.
Okay.
Again, something that dubs lot that lost media. They are not just losing media, they're hiding media.
Now, did Do You Remember Love ever like officially get into the West during this period,
We'll
the North
get to
American
it.
market? Okay.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
This is my own fault, folks.
You asked for this in order, so I'm giving it to you in order. At the same time,
You gave me two options, and I picked one. Don't make
uh,
me regret that choice, Scott.
oh, I think you got to. But again, in addition to selling RPGs and VHS tapes, uh, Harmony Gold would keep selling the rights to comic books for a few years at a time mostly just to keep it active on the backs of the existing fans. It went to Comico from 85 to 89, only the Macross stuff. It went to Eternity from 88 to 94, only adapting the outline for the Sentinels. Uh, they went to Eternity, which is an imprint of Malibu, and then Marvel bought Malibu because they wanted their inking technique. And then, 90s comics happened. Uh, the deal went to Academy Comics, which also redid all of the Sentinel stuff that Eternity had done, but also readapted Mospeda and Megazone. And then it went to Antarctic Press from 97 to 98 just to steal designs from Do You Remember Love to make the Sentinels for a third time.
Do you remember Love good enough to get brought out so many times, Scott? Is there that much to this story?
It's I don't know. It's just a very pretty film. It's a pretty film. That's all I'll say.
Pretty's good. I like pretty.
Pretty is too. Pretty is good. In 1992, BattleTech: The Game of Armored Combat comes out in Japan. And Studio Nue did the illustrations for the Japanese version. And I cannot prove this for the life of me. No one will say this with a straight face, but I am convinced that Studio Nue illustrated these tabletop role playing games to spite Tatsunoko.
Entirely possible.
It is entirely possible.
That is a nice cover, though. Is this a
Oh,
box set or was it? Did they
no, no.
release it in a?
So this is it's a specific. I can't remember. I think it's an A5 size book. Japanese RPG books come out in like A5. I think it's A5. I will it it is an odd print format for RPGs. Look forward to that. Brad, if you want me to explain the history of D&D in Japan as part of season 3, give me 30 you'll probably just give me 30 bucks, Brad, right? You're good for it. You're good for
At
it.
this point, I think he's subscribed. I think he just got the recurring payment set up on Ko-fi. God bless you, son. I owe you a coffee.
Yeah,
A
we
burrito.
yeah, like again, thank you, Brad. All right. So in 1991, FASA met with Playmates Toys to launch a MechWarrior toy line. MechWarrior, as it turns out, tremendously popular, getting more popular every day thanks to a very nice deal with Microsoft Game Studios to get, to get this in every LAN party. MechWarrior 1 was at every LAN party, wasn't it?
Oh, it was great.
So, but they
And
exchanged
just to chip in, was this before or after the animated series?
before, but the animated series will be a part of this.
And the books, they'd been publishing books for years, I believe, at this point, too.
Well,
Novels.
yeah, like the novel line's been going. They're just like, you know what? We want some toys to go with this because we only have the little guys, just the little guys you play the game with. But what if we had like, a big guy? Like what if there was a big guy you could buy for your shelf? That'd be cool. And that's why they start talking to Playmates. Playmates also wants to have a cool robot toy. They do.
Yeah.
But they pass on that deal in favor of a deal that they were also talking about at the same time with Universal Animation to create a series that will eventually be called Exo Squad. Early on in design, they were going to call it Exo Force, but then Universal actually made an X-Men cartoon, and it's like, oh, X-Force is an X-Men team. Let's not bother Marvel. Let's call it Exo Squad. Exo Squad's a good name for a cartoon, right?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. The show the Exo Squad, the TV show, doesn't do that well, doesn't sell a lot of
Uh,
toys, gets canceled before they can do season 3. But after the show is on the air, FASA sues Playmates. They allege two things. One, that Playmates stole a bunch of the ideas from the layers they were exchanging to make Exo Force because they were also talking about as why would you make a robot toy show if we hadn't told you to make a robot toy? And the
yeah,
second thing is that the Exo Squad Heavy Attack E-frame looks a hell of a lot like a Mad Cat.
I'm seeing similarities there.
Uh,
I'm not a lawyer, but
yeah, yeah. No, like again, there's only so many ways you can stack boxes full of missile launchers on top of things, but this these look alike. They
The
look alike.
cockpit design, the placing of the rocket launchers, how the hand cannons are set up. It's if I can see them in a meme pointing at one another, you
Yeah.
know.
But Playmates is able to prove that again they were exchanging letters with Universal Animation before they were exchanging letters with FASA, and the judge is just like, actually, no, I don't see it. He's robot blind. He's got robot face blindness. But then the next thing happens. After Exo Squad is canceled on TV and Playmates needs to kind of liquidate this toy line or extend the value of this toy line, Harmony Gold partners with Playmates to reissue old molds, old Matchbox molds of Robotech toys under under the Exo Squad name. So you would buy an Exo Squad Robotech Officer's Battle Pod. This is a Robotech battle pod under the Exo Squad name. And so, in 1996, Harmony Gold is able to reopen the FASA V Playmates case to a countersuit. And what they do is they demand something like 25,000 pages of documents in discovery.
Oh,
And yeah, huge amount of documents. And what they
this
find
is
is
not
that
documents that can be emailed to someone either.
no,
These have to be photocopied individually, put into boxes, and shipped across country,
yeah,
Chicago to wherever Harmony Gold or Playmates are.
yeah, like
I'm
yeah,
in physical pain thinking about this.
yeah,
My
like
back is hurting.
bankers boxes from Chicago to LA. And what they
Which
determine after
actually would be a great song. Bankers Boxes from Chicago to LA.
yeah.
Someone get Cheryl Crow on the line. I want to hear her singing that. Sorry.
So what they find
Lawsuit.
lawsuit. What they find is that Tatsunoko did not give either Revell or TCI exclusive model kit rights, and they didn't give anyone any right to sublicensing, which means that FASA won. They got hundreds of thousands of dollars in IP in an IP settlement for use of the designs from Macross and Daugrim, and FASA had to destroy their master molds of
Oh,
the little guys
no,
of
no,
the 11 mechs
no,
based on outside properties. Those are
oh,
gone. Those dies, they're dead.
oh,
They melted. They
no,
recycled them.
no, God.
The other thing that happens out of this is that FASA, or sorry, the other thing that happens is that Harmony Gold doesn't have to share any of that settlement money with Tatsunoko because Harmony Gold only has to share money for new products. If they're defending the IP, if they are suing someone over the viability of the IP, then they get to keep that settlement. That's them protecting their local copyright and trademark.
Too much legal shenanigans going here, Scott. Too much.
All right, well, we're going to take a break. We're going to take
And we're 30 years in the past.
we are going to
So
take a
there's nothing
little
but
break. We're
decades
going
of
to
legal
take a
shenanigans.
little breather. This one's easy. In 1999, Macross Plus is able to come out in North America, but due to issues with the music rights internationally, the song Dogfight was not able to be used in episode 4, which means that episode 4 of the original release of Macross Plus had to rebuild the entire sound mix around a new, or just around new other songs from the soundtrack. It got delayed by a year. Later, Bandai Visual, the guys who animated Macross Plus, would actually get a new dub cast together, David Hayter, for example, to redub episode 4 over the original Japanese sound mix. This is in the international version of a DVD that is only sold in Japan. The English dub of episode 4 of Macross was only available in Japan for many years.
It's wild, man.
That is wild.
I mean, but for anime fans, that's policy. That is just how it rolls.
Sometimes it happens. So, between the lawsuits with FASA and getting a TV deal, they and also the $25,000, 25,000 pages of discovery documents, they figure out FASA figures out what they actually don't own. So, for example, they just clean house. The 11 mechs from Crusher, Joe, Dowgren, and Macross, they never get illustrated again. They never get released as minis. They the rules text can still reference them because they own that, but just images of them that don't exist. They
Don't they
also
revise the visuals?
we'll get to that.
Okay, sorry. I thought I knew
You
something
asked
for
for
that.
that in order. You asked for it in order.
I got very excited. They're like, oh, I know this one.
Yeah, you do know this one. The other thing they turn out that they determine is that there's actually a bunch of mechs they've been referencing that were created for console games that the contracts didn't go both ways. So like the Rhino and the Fujin and the Raijin from Victor Music, the Sega Genesis games, they can't be referencing those. They also find out that, oh, and while they're doing this, again, part of the cartoon is there's like, oh, there's a lot of pop culture references in the names of planets and locations and people in our game, and we should shut that down. So again, Planet Rivendell, that gets invaded by the clans and renamed.
Aw.
The clan invasion in the Fourth Succession War kind of cleaned that up all in house. Obviously, I have to tip my hat to Lieutenant Shar Aznable, commander of the Zeta Battalion of Wolf's Dragoons, who was an ace pilot of a battle master. A battle master is a Daugrum,
All right.
and Shar Aznable is a Gundam guy.
Okay. See, there you go.
There we go. Also, again, the best
So you're saying that
mercenary
a bunch
unit.
of nerds made this stuff.
Yes, a bunch of nerds made this. Again, regrettably, you cannot play as the Fighting Urukai Mercenary Corps in a sanctioned Battletech tournament anymore.
They got dissolved. They're no longer an active unit.
They were wiped out by the clans.
Those damn clans. Is there
Uh,
anything
again,
legally distinct they will not destroy?
again, the clan invasion was a great excuse. They didn't plan it that way, but it was a great excuse to just say, "Oh, that planet was named after a Doctor Who character." Not clans blew it up.
Yeah. Clan ate it. They called it Jerry now.
Yep, there you go. 1998. Big West is frustrated with Tatsunoko. They think that they have the rights to make direct sequels to Macross 1 without Tatsunoko's involvement. This begins a lawsuit that will go through the Japanese courts. Um, the details on this are kind of fuzzy because it would depend on someone speaking Japanese legalese good enough to translate it into English. And also, many Robotech fans will just sort of pontificate on this out of their asses. So I'm just going to say there is a lawsuit that starts in 1998 between Big Fest and Tatsunoko. And part of that settlement will lead to, in 2002, a Tokyo district court will determine that because the Valkyrie design predates anyone else's involvement with the final product of Macross, that Studio No owns the Valkyrie.
All right.
Okay,
All right. I'm
into
not learning ancient Hebrew.
that's right. In 2002, Harmony Gold reboots their comic project, and they decide to retcon a bunch of the previous comics because they are building up to making a show called The Shadow Chronicles. And then the comic license goes to Wildstorm. Wildstorm is now owned by DC. And you know what they
Yeah.
don't do? They don't reprint those Robotech Defenders comics in any of the collected editions, even for funsies.
Are these incredibly valuable, or is it just something someone will admit they own and just like, fuck.
Well, again, I think because they've never been reprinted, they do kind of command a higher price. I don't think there's a huge market, like there's a huge interest from collectors. I just think it's like, there's these copies, and if you want them, you got to pay for them.
It's fair. The market demands.
All right. In 2001, FASA goes out of business as a publisher of RPGs. They still exist as a company to manage the IP that they generated the entire 80s. But the MechWarrior rights eventually move to Catalyst Game Labs, who relaunch the original setting of BattleTech with new rules that they call Classic Battletech. And in 2003, they debut entirely new, lawyer vetted, multiple lawyers of all of the dozen the unseen 11, which also includes one space fighter and also the Fujin and the Raijin. It's the unseen 14, but we only call them the unseen 11. But
Just a quick reminder, if you're going to go searching for classic Battletech, be careful when you're searching for the abbreviation. The CBT means a lot of different things.
a lot of different things may or not be legal in your region. Now,
Did we get
into
into Dark Ages yet?
Dark Ages doesn't matter.
Okay.
Doesn't matter for this discussion. In
Not relevant
2000
to this discussion.
doesn't matter right now. In 2003, a Tokyo district court in the Studio Nue and Big West Tatsunoko case determines that Studio Nue was not the author of Macross, and that means the international rights to the story and the episodes go to Tatsunoko. Okay? So
Sure.
Tatsunoko owns Macross, the show, the story. But Big West owns the copyright to the 41 characters and mecha from that show.
I'm a little exhausted by this, to be deadly honest. There's a lot going on here.
Yeah. Yeah. This is the part where things get really tiresome because now we are just dealing with the fact that Harmony Gold is going to want to pursue more Robotech projects and can't actually use the part of Robotech anyone gives a shit about. Case in point, Robotech 3000. Tatsunoko does extend the rights for to make sequels to Robotech, but again, only for the plot and characters and mechs from Southern Cross and Mospada, which means that Robotech 3000, a proposed CGI show that no one liked the look of, was scrapped. This was apparently Robotech fans didn't like Reboot or Battle or Beast Wars. They did not like Transformers Beast Wars. They did not want a CG show. So that gets canceled, and also again they can't use Macross designs, so that plan gets shut down. So they begin work on what will become Robotech Shadow Force. In 2001, Saban Entertainment had secured the trademark for Shadow Force Megazord the Shadow Force Megazord as part of their Power Rangers Time Force series, so the name was quickly changed to Robotech Shadow Chronicles.
Sure.
Sure. Again, I promise
Saban,
to.
you're going to have to fight to stay ahead of them.
Yeah. Again, I promise to say everything.
You did.
2006. The co-owner and sales manager, Steve Shearling of Palladium Games, is found to have spent at least 4 years embezzling as much as $1 million from Palladium, and Palladium just enters complete free fall as a business. Kevin Sembieta begins selling signed, not limited edition prints as a donation driver, but the company basically collapses.
Scott,
Yeah.
you're not saying what he called it.
Oh, what did he call it?
Kevin referred to it as the crisis of treachery, which I believe Rob Liefeld illustrated in the mid 90s. But
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was yeah, that was the one where that's the one where there were like 4 flashes died, right?
yeah, it was it was weird to see a flash but not see his feet. It was honestly a little bit of a strange
Strange way to do it. Strange way to do it.
strange presentation of the character. But yes.
Also in 2006, federal agent, the FBI raids Frank Argama's house in partnership with both Interpol and the Italian authorities. Because at this point, Silvio Berlusconi, owner of Mediaset, has become Prime Minister of Italy. And it is, and they have, and the Italian authorities have determined that Berlusconi, as well as 9 business partners, including Argama, had fraudulently inflated the price of television rights originally purchased by Argama so that they could then funnel millions of dollars into a slush fund that was part owner of Mediaset and then pay it out just to those 9 executives. Also, Berlusconi had been accused of sex crimes at this point. He's saying so much Islamophobic shit and so much misogyny. He is like imagine if Donald Trump was also Rupert Murdoch and a career politician. 30 years of the most unhinged shit you can imagine. This is Berlusconi's political career. But
Like you can't trust a billionaire media figure who goes into politics.
you really can't, what is the world coming to? In 2007, um, the the Italian prosecutor's office drops a bunch of charges. Specifically, they realize that okay, many of the prosecution's charges are past the statute of limitations. So Berlusconi and his 9 co-defendees are only on trial for embezzlement, tax fraud, and accepting stolen goods from 1999 and up. Okay, the 93 stolen goods goes back to 93 because again, Berlusconi is also in with the Sicilian mob, not the Calabrian mob, as far as we know, just the Sicilian mob. But even with that drop from cutting the accusation from 4 decades to 2, it's probably 130 million US dollars in ill-gotten funds, probably.
A lot of corruption going on here.
Yes. Speaking of things that are not corrupt, Toby Maguire. So for starters, Shadow Chronicles was supposed to was released as a 60-minute special direct to DVD, but it was supposed to lead into to a TV show. TV show production is canceled immediately because Warner Brothers Pictures and Tobey Maguire buy the theatrical rights to Robotech. They are going to make a Robotech movie, and Toby's going to play Rick. It's going to happen in just 2 years. 2 years in 2009, they're going to greenlight this
Awesome.
shit. It's going to be great. It's going to work out just fine. Uh, Currently, Harmony Gold will insist that they never actually canceled Shadow Chronicles, the TV show, but it's 2026, dudes.
Yeah, 20 years ago. I mean, this
I
is
don't
turning
think I
into
don't think we're getting Shadow Rising, the TV show.
it'll be released on a double VHS box set with the Babylon 5 reboot.
In 2009, Catalyst Game Labs cancels the print publication of Battletech 25 Years of Art and Fiction and pulls the digital edition from stores because a Battletech art book that it captures 25 years
Yeah,
of Battletech
yeah,
art would probably include some Daugrim and Macross art. And yeah,
that's what the people wanted to see.
Harmony Gold sues over that. They eventually reprint it without the Macross parts. Also in 2009, Harmony Gold is sued by Smith and Tinker. Smith and Tinker is a video game company founded by FASA founder Jordan Weissman to create video games based on FASA properties, including MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries. They specifically, FASA's specific complaint is over the redesign of the Warhammer, the Marauder from Macross. This C&D goes nowhere.
Well,
It
got to make those, got to make the claims, even if it doesn't pan out.
Yep. In 2010, a science fiction mecha animated series by the Guangzhou based toy firm Jingwan is China's first ever original science fiction animated series, which features aliens invading Earth for its natural resources and then being defended by a group of plucky young pilots using transforming versions of the J-10 and J-11 fighters, and everyone agrees this is a ripoff of Macross Frontier and Gundam 00.
I mean, the similarities are quite
The 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 the
present.
the fighters even have a Falcon mode where they're half transformed. It looks exactly like a Gerwalk. All of the custom paint jobs look exactly like the paint jobs from Frontier. Many of the character designs look like Gundam from 00. Um, this series struggles with bootleg toys on the Chinese mainland, and they have to issue a press release that helps people identify official Astroplan toys by looking for the UN shield logo from Macross on them. The official Astroplan toys have the Macross logo on them, not the fake ones.
I can't. It's just, I just, who's
When called out on this by press agents in Japan and the US, the official statement from Xinhuan is that animation originated in Europe, but was copied and popularized by the United States before Japan and South Korea followed suit, and that the Chinese animation industry is simply following the pattern of its Asian neighbors, which is not addressing the fact that you stole a bunch of IP.
the genre, the medium has expanded out for it. It's not just France anymore. You are correct. However, you are also not.
And because literally the Chinese law has no respect for foreign IP, this this is where it ends. Everyone just goes, "Hey, that's stolen," and they go, "Yeah, what you gonna do?" What they are going to do, and this is another, I cannot prove this, but in the sequel to Gundam 00, the movie sequel, they're part of the movie Gundam 00, Awakening of a Trailblazer, includes a movie within a movie called Celestial Being the Movie, which is a like terribly rendered representation of the climax of season one. But I'm pretty everyone. I think I firmly believe that part of why the misrepresentation is parodying Astroplan. That like specifically this character over here, this guy, I think he's definitely a reference to Astroplan.
Well, there you go.
This is me again.
Yes, this is not official. We have no definitive proof of this, but
But
yeah, yeah.
it's funny. It's funny. 2013, San Diego San Diego Comic Con, as a convention exclusive. Hasbro releases again a limited lineup at the booth for hours. Pay a lot for this. A box of GI Joe and Transformers crossover figures. It's 5 figures. They're redecoed. They're really good. And inside that is a GI Joe Sky Striker styled as Jetfire. Again, color scheme,
Very cool.
logo. Hasbro owns Jetfire the character, and of course the
Yes,
vehicle, the Sky Striker. Everything's fine,
seems all
except
legit. Ooh,
except inside the box. You know what you get on your GI Joe action figure, Justin?
what do you get?
Little index card with the stats and bio,
Oh
and on
yeah.
that index card you get a picture, and you know what that picture is?
What was the picture, Scott?
It's a G1. It's a G1 Jetfire. It's the
Oh,
Valkyrie.
and
Harmony
they don't
Gold
have that, do they?
sued for that image. They called for a recall of all figures from con goers. They called for the
That's not
destruction.
gonna happen, Harmony Gold.
They called for the destruction of all backstock, and the case was settled out of court for an undisclosed amount of what I assume is a big pile of Hasbro leave us alone money,
Yes.
which is really what Harmony Gold needed because again, Frank is under investigation in Italy.
Yeah, that's happy lawyer money.
Yep. In 2013, Harmony Gold sues Piranha Games. They are making MechWarrior Online, specifically as they are debuting the Marauder and Warhammer, which are, of course, originally based on Macross designs, but they
Yeah,
have new ones that are lawyer proof, and that goes nowhere. In
not going to cover that
2013,
lawsuit with this.
yeah, in 2013, Palladium Games launches Robotech RPG Tactics, a Kickstarter campaign. This
Give it to me.
was they've recovered from the crisis of treachery. They have the board game rights to Robotech back. They kickstart a box set with many add-ons. They get about 5,342 backers and secure $1,442,312, not counting any
Everyone knows a lot of
fees.
stretch goals. Go great.
Lot of stretch goals. So many stretch
That's going to
goals.
be so easy to fulfill.
So
You
easy.
just got more money. It's not going to be a problem at all. You've got all this money. You'll surely be able to get everyone happy within the timelines you've outlined on your Kickstarter. Perfect. Good job. Well planned.
By summer of 2014, they have fulfilled nothing to no one and have to beg their backers to be allowed to sell some product at Gen Con before the backers got theirs. And the ones they sell at Gen Con, they're damaged, they're incomplete.
Oh,
The elements that were supposed to be painted per the Kickstarter were not painted. The instructions are badly written.
disappointing.
We'll come back to Robotech RPG tactics in just a moment. Speaking of Kickstarter, Harmony Gold get tried to relaunch this series in animation to get a TV pilot for Robotech Academy. Hopefully, their hope was that someone, possibly Sony or Warner Brothers, would pay for a whole series. Halfway through, they pulled the plug on that entirely, only raising not even half of their intended goal. Tommy Yoon, head of animation for Harmony Gold, insists that this project is still in production and will happen any year now.
He insists this to this day,
To
12
this
years later.
day. To this day. 12
All
years
right.
later.
That
Anytime,
optimism,
Robotech
that
Academy.
confidence.
Robotech Academy. It's going to be on Netflix. Swear to God. In 2016, the Italian government drops charges against 5 members of the 9 people accused of, again, tax fraud, embezzlement, and accepting stolen goods in that case. Possibly, Frank Argama is among them. Possibly because the Italian government would have to file for extradition against a U.S. citizen for financial crimes. Possibly because Frank just handed over a bunch of evidence and, maybe got some good boy
Yeah.
points that way.
He was quite old at the time, too, as I understand.
He was rather old. He will die in 2023. 2015, Sony announces Robotech the movie again. They have partnered with Harmony Gold to release Robotech the motion picture worldwide. Worldwide does not include Japan because again, Big West owns the character, the 41 mech and character designs as well as the names of from
Now, this
Macross.
is this an animated movie or is this a
This would be the
continuation of the
live
live
action
action
one.
that
This
you
is the
Tobey
live
Maguire
action
wanted
one
to do?
that Tobey Maguire is still attached to, but it's been 7 years, so he's not playing Rick anymore. He's playing Roy.
He's played a lot of poker since then.
Yeah, yeah. Also, because this deal is now with Sony, Sony's own wholly owned anime distributor Funimation begins streaming Robotech and distributing Robotech DVDs.
Get it if you
Oh,
got it.
yep. Also, 2015, backers of the Robotech RPG Tactics Kickstarter don't sue over the fact that they still don't have any stuff, but they do complain to the Better Business Bureau to get their stuff. In 2016, 5,000 backers still don't have stuff, and hundreds are still waiting for the more expensive part of the stuff. In
You know,
2016, yeah,
far be it from me to hand it to Kevin, but I have seen Kickstarters get out of hand. I've seen companies get buried in their own success. The heck with this guy.
yeah.
Where's my goddamn plastic robots? Eric, Kevin.
Yep. In 2016, um, Harmony Gold enters arbitration against Tatsunoko because they believe that the case against the case that Big West won against them opens them up to risks because again, if Big West owns all those Macross designs, then it was wrong of them to sue FASA and make their lives hell for a decade. And that means that FASA and Catalyst Game Labs could countersue. And so they're like, hey, you may have exposed us to the thing we just exploited with FASA, and we'd really like it we'd really like some cash to be ready to defend against that. At the same time, Tatsunoko then counterclaims in arbitration $15 million in damages for mismanaging the brand internationally because, again, Macross tapes not really widely circulated. Comics, they
No,
don't last that long. They don't
uh,
they, they don't really go anywhere.
in the
But
books, they're like,
but again, at the end of this, a California judge finds in favor of Harmony Gold and awards Harmony Gold $850,000, which they don't have to share with Tatsunoko, but do have to give to Frank's lawyers, because again, Frank just only barely dodged jail time in Italy.
yes.
I should note that two members of Berlusconi's crew, specifically his son, Pier Silvio Berlusconi, and the CCO of Mediaset, were fined hundreds of millions of tens of millions of euros, and were sentenced to 14 months in Italian jail. But you know what happened, Justin?
What happened, Scott?
Woke Italian judges were like, these guys aren't
Oh,
violent. They shouldn't go to jail. They only stole 10 times the amount anyone who ever committed an armed robbery in Italy has ever done. But they didn't use a gun, so I guess they're fine to
well, if you
roam the
don't use a
streets.
gun, it's not really a crime.
Again, I am a genuine believer in rehabilitative and restorative justice, but if you use the legal system to screw over taxpayers, no, I think you deserve very harsh things in your life.
Spend some time in a concrete room. Think about what you've done.
Italian jails are pretty nice overall. They're not like
I hear
American
I
ones.
hear the meals are nice.
I
Pasta
I mean,
and
I
some
mean they only
veal.
get wine with dinner, not lunch.
Savagery.
Savagery. All right.
The same salad at every meal. My God.
Oh my God. They don't no fresh cracked pepper. You just got to use the pre-cracked stuff. Ugh. Rapidly approaching present day, we're going to talk about another Kickstarter. This one is Harebrained Schemes BattleTech. This is the tactical role-playing game. Nice story mode. Had a lot of great DLCs. This one from Harebrained Schemes, tremendously well managed. Stretch goals handled gracefully. But as part of crowdfunding, Harmony Gold sent a C&D over not just the 11 designs, the 11 unseen designs, which I, again, remind you, lawyers vetted. So that is the
Yes.
Macross designs, the Dowgram designs. They also sue over the Crusher Joe design. Harmony Gold never had the rights to Crusher Joe.
Just doing it for the rights of the thing. Just for the moral uprightness. Someone has
Also,
to stand up for Crusher Joe, Scott.
yeah. Also, they sue over the Atlas, which has always been a FASA design.
Alice is a thing of beauty. Shut up, Harmony Gold. My God.
This one, Catalyst and Harebrained take to court,
Mm.
and a judge dismisses this case with prejudice.
Oh, damn, you don't want that. That means you don't get to try it again.
You don't get to try again, and you don't get to
Oh, nope.
ask for legal fee. You have to pay the other guy's legal fees.
Yep.
That's how it goes. 2018,
Oh
Palladium
no.
declares failure. Officially. Robotech RPG Tactics, after 5 years, announces that they cannot renew the rights deal to board games, that no one is getting the second wave of stuff, and if you were mad about the instructions being bad, well, here's some PDFs that are low res to fix that. Uh,
Oh.
Everyone who still hasn't gotten stuff is offered store credit to Palladium, which is only PDFs at this point. And if you're a Palladium fan, you probably got those.
If you're a Robotech fan, you're not interested in what they got.
Oh yeah, you. I mean, like, and again, they don't
Wait, did
have
they
the.
still have the RPG right?
They still
Would you have
they
been
did
able to?
get they did get part of the RPG rights. Again, nothing that references Macross. Just the
Oh,
just just the must
just buy
beta.
Rifts. Just buy
Yeah,
Rifts with that.
yeah. Well, that's all you can get really, because they don't even have TMNT anymore. March of 2020. Yeah, and in March of 2018, all remaining stock of Robotech RPG Tactics is liquidated. In 2021, they Harmony Gold signs a new deal with Tatsunoko, extending the deal for even longer. But because Sony is now a partner, they show up and give a very big pile of money to everyone involved, specifically Big West and Studio Nue. To quote Anime News Network in this case, Big West will no longer oppose the Japanese release of the anticipated live action Robotech film. Robotech Big West will no longer contest Harmony Gold's USA exclusive license with Tatsunoko to the 41 Macross characters and mecha designs in Robotech related to the series and merchandise outside Japan, and the companies have agreed to cooperate on the distribution of all future Macross and Robotech projects, which leads to, in 2024, most of Macross ends up on Hulu or Disney Plus, where anime goes to die. In August of that year, obviously, all of Macross shows up on Disney Plus in Japan, and that's starting to filter out to more regions, including, I think the second one was Canada, which has allowed us to watch Macross Plus.
Yay!
Yay.
So at this point, Tobin Mugara is going to play the captain on
Yeah,
Robotech,
yeah,
right?
he's now the captain. He, like, if Toby's
Yeah.
still attached, he's the captain. 2024, the new agreement hits its first real test with Macross Shooting Insight, a video game for PlayStation 4, 5, Xbox, and Switch, which will be the first international release of a Macross game, and it had been planned to come out simultaneously across all regions. This features characters and plots and mechs from the original Macross, Macross Zero, Macross Plus, Macross Frontier, and Macross Delta in Japan.
Wow.
But at the very last minute, they had to pull in the French developer Red Alert to recreate about half the game so that the plot and action could proceed without Hikaru and Minwei from the original Macross, because for the English version, they couldn't use any characters from the original Macross. So, and all the art, the cover art, and promo materials were altered to not feature these characters.
I mean, how much of the game of the franchise are these characters? Because like I am not a huge fan. I know Rick Hunter.
Yeah.
I know Roy Fokker.
Well,
I know
again,
Lisa and Min May and the captain and
Yeah, all
Roy's
these guys.
girlfriend.
Roy's girlfriend Sheila. Yeah, look, these Shoji would like to do a direct sequel, but can't because of this. And Carl would like to do a direct sequel to his that version of the story, but can't because of this. So everything is just pushing though the setting forward, and I will say Macross Frontier and Delta do feature Max. You remember Max from the original series, Max Genius, the
Sure, yeah,
Wunderkind.
Max.
Yeah,
Everyone loves
Max.
Max. Good
He's
old
he's
Max. Smart
he's
guy.
he's
He's
the
on the
best.
ball.
He's the best guy. But yeah, no, this is still an ongoing frustration, and it still hurts. But I think we are going to leave this on a last bit of hope, which is that in July 5th of this year, 2026, Big West has partnered with Anime Expo to finally
Yeah.
screen Do You Remember Love uncut in any way in the US for the first time.
And as I understand it, this is good news, like really good. We're going to get it now. It's going to be 4K out the door,
Everything, everything.
probably summer. Yeah.
This is based on the very good Blu-ray remaster they did for Japan like 5 or 6 years ago. This is the best of all possible worlds, and it's going to be on screens. It might even come out on a Blu-ray over here. Who knows?
Or, the Blu-ray they make over there will get pirated.
Well, I
Be
mean,
part of it.
it'll have an English option, and the way it's working out right now is that there's a company in the UK that is releasing region-free discs for the international market. So, Justin, Brad,
God.
Elon, this is every IP kerfuffle I could find related to the Macross franchise,
Mm.
explained as best I could. How you feeling?
Good. That was a lot.
Yeah.
Uh, if is the next is the next screen that dog getting the fire hose sprayed into his mouth because that's kind of how I felt.
Yeah, no, that's how I felt writing this. This is how I felt putting it together because every time I'm just like, okay, okay, this hat connects to this connects to that. The Plaza Accords.
Silvio Berlusconi and Kevin Ciambina.
Yeah. Like I knew parts of this going in, and I will say, like, a lot of it was me kind of remembering. I'm not a fan of Macross really, but as a guy who knows a lot of Macross fans, there were points where it's like when the Italian fraud case came up, like, fuck, is the EU like international court gonna fine Harmony Gold into oblivion? Is this what
Oh,
saves Macross internationally? And unfortunately not. But that was the moment of hope. That was the flicker for a lot of people.
now I will say one of my core memories of the anime industry is an interview I read with Carl May in an issue of Comics in 1980. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And his enthusiasm is palpable. You could tell that he was a fan and he wanted to bring this out. And, as you point out, Harmony Gold, troublesome, does not play well with others. Is they have something, and I don't think I think they were trying to exploit it for their own benefit, not the benefit of the franchise, not the benefit of the fans.
Well,
Lots
they
of
like it's to me they thought they had Robotech fans. They thought that they had created Robotech fans, and they really didn't. They just had Macross fans with extra steps. That's what they had. They had Macross fans with extra steps.
it's like they had a big box of Napoleon ice cream, and they thought everyone loved Napoleon ice cream. They opened it. There's all the chocolate gone. It
Yeah,
was like, come on, guys, what's the
yeah,
vanilla
yeah.
and the
Like,
strawberry? Well, the strawberry is really good. I
well,
was
I
like,
mean,
one more chocolate, one more chocolate.
no, no, yeah, yeah, and this is it, and obviously the arrangement that was not negotiated well back in the 80s between Big West and Tatsunoko is part of the problem, but these guys had to do it that they felt they had to do it this way, right? That was it. And this is what took so long.
Neapolitan, what the hell was I saying?
I don't know.
Neapolitan ice cream. Napoleolitan? Late. I've been here for a while. We've been talking about anime. Now we're talking about ice cream. People
Yeah.
like the chocolate, which is the macross. The metaphor is still good. Neapolitan ice cream.
The smart
Thank you, Google.
people, they pick the strawberry. Mospada's the strawberry.
The Southern Cross is the vanilla.
Nobody fucking likes Southern Cross.
Uh,
But again, as
putting that on our
I
merch, aren't we?
yeah. Oh, yeah, certainly. That's the sticker I'm giving out at cons next year. Nobody fucking likes Matt Southern Cross. But no, I was a BattleTech fan, and there was this point where, oh yeah, the Battle Master's the best one. It's the best one. It's a really good.
Oh, it's so good.
It's an all round. It's a great all rounder, medium sized, no specialty parts to upkeep. Great mech. Great mech. Run this in every squad if you can. But all of a sudden, the Battlemaster went away. It went away, Justin. Couldn't
Where's my
have
Battle
that in your
Master?
Vigis. Where's my Battlemaster, Bruce?
uh,
And I think about all the things that are lost. Again, if you want to read those 2 Robotech Defenders comics, good luck. There are, again, if you're at all interested for historical reasons in Clash of the Bionoids or Robotech the movie, those are gone. They are not just losing media, although Harmony Gold did lose a lot of media. They, like all the other adaptations of those Tatsunoko shows I mentioned at the start, those are gone. They're lost forever. You can't watch their version of Lesman anywhere legitimately. And Lensman, that was a fucking rockin' OVA, I will tell you what.
I saw a Lensman movie in the theaters in the early '90s. Am I thinking something different, or
That may have been what you saw. That may have been what you saw. Yeah. Animated Lensman, right? Classic sci-fi novel. And this is
just
it.
to make everybody feel better? Robotech Defenders, you can get it on eBay for $10. So
Okay,
not that hard, not
that's
that hard, but
that again, that seems fair to me. I keep flirting with the idea of collecting Jimmy Olsen comics, just Jimmy Olsen's, and those seem to go for about the same amount most of the time. I don't care too much. I'm gonna read them. I'm gonna read the Jimmy Olsen comics if I buy them.
I'm not slabbing this stuff. Slabbing's for losers and speculators.
And
I want
fucking
swipe
tourists.
those.
While we're here, we should say that Logan Paul is encouraging people to slab like fucking like Viz Media Tankabon like collections of Dragon Ball.
Like every day, I want someone to hurt him a little bit more,
Like his
and I'm not
jaw
going to feel
was
guilty about that.
when his jaw was broken. It was one of the best things that happened to the planet because he couldn't fucking talk.
The universe had a moment of peace.
Just a moment of peace. Um, but anyway, I think this is everything. I just want to say that one guy seeking rent, or one set of guys seeking rent over one property, made anime fandom so much more frustrating. Not just anime fandom, like just board game fandom harder for no
Yeah,
reason except seeking rent, and that's shitty, and it should not be allowed. And
it made video games less enjoyable.
Frank Argama should have died in Italian prison because he defrauded the people of Italy for tens of millions of dollars.
Or tens of millions of lira.
Yeah. Oh
Were
God.
they still using lira, or was it euro? I
Well,
don't know.
when they started, it was lira. When they started, it was still Euro. Like the crimes they were prosecuted for only had euros for part of it. 1993 for stolen goods, right? That's lira. That's lira times.
It's hard to keep. See, the accounting would be a nightmare because you're switching between currencies and
Well, that's
boo.
why they got away with it so long. So,
Thank you very much, Scott. I feel like I've learned a lot,
yeah,
and I got to make fun of the crisis of treachery and
Kevin
Rob
Sembieta.
Liefeld art, which is
Yeah,
my favorite thing. And Kevin Simbier about it. Uh, know a lot of people who work with the guy, so
yeah,
it's like, yeah, shame. Anyway, literally that gift.
yeah.
What a shame. Anyway,
So anyway, again, visit hlj.com. Buy yourself a Macross model kit. Not from the original Macross. They respect international agreements, unlike whoever made Astro Plan.
unless you can find a friend in Japan who will pick that
Help you
up, and
out.
then
Help you out.
yeah,
But
yeah.
that link is in the description. Until next time, like, share, and subscribe.
Keep spreading the tapes, folks.